Hello, welcome to Digital Farm TV Rural News. I'm Andy Walker. Post-Farmgate agribusiness conditions are on the rise due to favourable economic conditions, according to a National Australia Bank agribusiness survey for the June quarter. General Manager of NAB Agribusiness, Khan Horn, said business conditions had rebounded 14 points to positive territory during the period. The improved outlook was supported by the depreciating Aussie dollar, down 12%, and cuts to interest rates to 2.5% in May and August. Significantly, capital expenditure expectations reached their strongest point in 2 years, up 11 points, reflecting the fact that increasing export demand was soaking up processing capacity. Now some mixed news on the weather, more good than bad. The Bureau of Meteorology reports that the chance of exceeding the median rainfall for spring is more than 60% over most of southeast Australia and the top end of the Northern Territory. The chance rises to more than 70% over central Victoria. Odds suggest a less than 40% chance of above average rainfall over southern parts of the Kimberley in Western Australia. The New South Wales Irrigators Council, Namoi Water and Cotton Australia have released a report of findings from a recent tour of gas operations in Colorado, the United States. Namoi Water Executive Officer John Marie Baker said the potentially devastating impacts of badly managed gas operations clearly justified extreme caution in Australia. The water that came out of gas seams carried with it significant dangers to irrigated agriculture and the environment. If CSG projects were to proceed, the community needed to recognise the severity of the associated risks and ensure rigorous testing and management. Leading retailers and international knitwear manufacturers are embracing the new technology wool comfort meter and handle meter for the system's ability to differentiate wool garments and drive consumer demand. Representatives of Country Road Australia and China's Mengdai Knitwear Company will headline a workshop to be held in Melbourne on September 5 as part of Wool Week. Keynote speakers will provide perspectives on how the two systems are likely to build demand for merino wool, especially the finer microns used in lightweight next-to-skin woolwear. The WA government is considering an $80 million plan to increase the huge capacity of Lake Argyle by 10 times the volume of Sydney Harbour, according to the West Australian. The extra water would be used to attract billions of dollars in investment to develop 100,000 hectares of agricultural land in the East Kimberley and Northern Territory as part of the Ord River irrigation scheme. Capacity would rise from 10,670 to 15,500 gigalitres. Sydney Harbour has a volume of about 500 gigalitres by building a barrier wall across one of the 4 spillways leading out of Lake Argyle. Farmers are calling on major political parties to announce a policy on food labelling this election, according to ABC Rural Radio. The Greens have a policy supporting stricter country of origin ID, but the National Liberal and Labor parties have not released policies relating to this important food consumer issue. Victorian fruit grower Peter Hall told ABC Rural it was often impossible for consumers to know what food is produced in Australia from reading a label. He wanted the next government to change label laws to show that food produced in Australia was grown under superior conditions to imported food. Finally this week, back across the Tasman, the pain goes on. A genetics company which provided defective bull semen to farmers last year has received a warning from the New Zealand Commerce Commission about its marketing. About 900 farmers were affected after they used semen from a bull called Matrix to artificially inseminate their herds. Matrix, who belonged to the farmer-owned Livestock Improvement Corporation, sired around 6,000 calves, of which 1,500 heifers were born carrying a genetic defect. The defect typically caused excessive hairiness and an intolerance to heat, which could affect the animal's ability to produce milk in the future. Well, that's it for Digital Farm TV Rural News this week. I'm Andy Walker, and I look forward to your company again next week. Bye.